Your nightly bathroom trips may be coming from one everyday drink. Each interruption chips away at deep sleep, leaving you foggy, irritable, and less resilient. I'll guide you to a simple, natural fix, clear, safe steps for better nights. If you've been waking up at 1:47 a.m., or some oddly specific time, to use the bathroom, you're not broken, and you're not alone. There's a quiet trigger in many daytime cups that tells your body, hours later, to shift out of sleep mode and into bathroom mode. Tonight, I'll help you spot that trigger, show how it hijacks your sleep, and, most important, what to do about it safely. And a quick promise to reward your attention. At the very end of this series, I'll share a simple bonus protocol that combines timing and a soothing evening beverage to reduce those overnight awakenings without gimmicks. First, let's center the real cost. A single wake-up can fragment deep sleep, making the morning foggier, your appetite less predictable, and your mood a little frayed. Over time, broken sleep nudges blood sugar and blood pressure in the wrong direction and chips away at memory consolidation. None of this is meant to scare you. It's simply what we see when the body never gets an uninterrupted stretch to do its quiet housekeeping. If there's one thing to take from today, it's that the liquid choices we make in the afternoon and evening are far more powerful than most of us realize. Here's the essential idea, in clear terms. Your body has a night setting. Hormones that help you concentrate urine rise after dark, so you make less volume while you're asleep. The bladder relaxes a little, the kidneys pace themselves, and you coast through the night. But some common drinks, especially when taken late, or prepared in a way that's easy to sip quickly, push against that night setting. They either nudge the kidneys to make more urine, irritate the bladder lining so it sends urgent signals, or keep your brain more alert than you want. The result lands at 2 a.m. If you live in North America, the odds are stacked a bit higher. Free refills of coffee, a large iced latte to power through late meetings, sweet tea at dinner, a cola during a ball game, a bubbly diet soda while finishing emails, these small choices add up. Cold temperature can make drinks easier to gulp. Carbonation adds bladder pressure for some. Artificial sweeteners can be irritating in sensitive people. It's not just the label, it's the combo of ingredients, temperature, and timing. Let me make this practical. Start by noticing the 3 T's: type, timing, and total. Type refers to what's in the cup. Stimulants, alcohol, sweeteners, and gas, carbonation matter. Timing is when you drink. Late afternoon to bedtime is the danger zone. Total is volume. Big cups close to lights out are a recipe for interruptions. Keep a 2-night mini-log. Write down the largest caffeinated or carbonated drink after 3 p.m. and how often you woke up. People are often shocked by how predictable the pattern becomes. There's also a detail about preparation that rarely gets mentioned. Drinks you make at home can be brewed strong without realizing it. A decaf, brewed double strength, can still carry enough residual stimulant to bother sleep. An herbal tea steeped forever becomes more bitter and harder on the stomach, which can trigger waking for reasons that have nothing to do with the bladder. Even natural add-ins, extra honey, spicy cinnamon sticks, lemon, change how quickly a drink empties from the stomach or how much it provokes reflux. This is why we'll later talk about the right amounts and the right way to prepare evening alternatives. When it comes to your health, tiny details are not nitpicking. They're the difference between that helped and that backfired. What about hydration in general? Don't fear water. The goal isn't to be thirsty all evening. It's to shift most of your fluids earlier in the day and taper in the final hours. Many people find a simple cadence helpful. Enjoy generous fluids at breakfast and lunch, a moderate glass at the late afternoon slump, then smaller, slower sips with dinner. Make your last bathroom pit stop part of your wind-down ritual. This is not deprivation. It's aligning your intake with the body's night plan. Here's a small but powerful experiment you can do tonight without buying anything. Choose a gentle, non-carbonated, non-caffeinated warm beverage about 60-90 minutes before bed and cap the volume at a small mug rather than a cafe-sized tumbler. Sip slowly. Don't chug. If you normally add artificial sweeteners, try skipping them for 2 nights. Elevate your feet for 10-15 minutes in the early evening. This helps move daytime fluid out of the lower legs so it's not processed all at once overnight. These are simple behavioral levers, but they are often more effective than we expect because they respect how your kidneys and bladder want to work after dark. Of course, there are exceptions and medical nuances. Some people take diuretics, water pills, or have conditions that change how the body handles salt and water. Others have pelvic floor or prostate issues, urinary tract irritation, or sleep apnea, which can also prompt nighttime bathroom trips. Nothing here replaces personal medical guidance. The purpose is to give you a clear, safe starting point that most adults can try. We'll stay practical and avoid extreme claims. Here's your mini climax for today. The same comforting mug that keeps you alert on a road trip tends to whisper a very different message to your kidneys as the night wears on. Make more. The body listens. Hours later, the bladder interrupts your deep sleep, not because you did something wrong, but because your routine sent mixed signals. That's fixable. In the next section, I'll show you, step by step, how your internal night mode works so you can protect it. And I'll keep building toward that simple bonus protocol promised at the end. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if you change amounts or preparation methods without guidance. I'll keep it clear and safe so you can make smart, healthy adjustments. By now you can feel the pattern. When your evening cup conflicts with the body's night setting, sleep gets sliced into fragments. Let's open the hood and make sense of that setting so you can steer your routine with confidence, not guesswork. I'll keep the language plain and the actions realistic. Your body is wired with a nighttime dimmer switch for urine. After sunset, signals rise that ask the kidneys to make less volume and concentrate what they do make. That way the bladder can hold comfortably, and your brain can stay in deeper sleep phases where memory and repair happen. Several familiar ingredients push against that dimmer. Some act like a gentle volume knob on the kidneys, telling them to filter more. Others lightly irritate the bladder lining, increasing the urge to empty even when the volume isn't huge. Some stimulate the brain just enough to keep you cycling near the surface of sleep, where you're more likely to wake to minor sensations. Where do these ingredients show up? In North American routines, it's easy to meet them without meaning to. The late afternoon iced coffee that goes down smooth because it's cold. The free refill at a diner that turns one mug into 3. Sweet tea paired with a drive-through dinner, a bubbly cola, or a zero-sugar soda while answering after-hours emails. An energy drink sipped during a long commute. Even chocolate-forward treats or certain kombuchas can contribute. None of these are villains, but their timing and preparation add up. Here's the physiology, boiled down without jargon. Stimulating compounds can nudge the kidneys to increase the amount of sodium and water they excrete. Carbonation expands slightly in the stomach and can increase pressure. For some, that translates into a stronger urge to urinate. Certain artificial sweeteners and flavorings seem to bother sensitive bladders, increasing gotta-go signals even at smaller volumes. Alcohol, when present, briefly turns down the very hormone that helps you make less urine at night, which is why a nightcap often backfires around 3 a.m. Put those effects on top of a tall evening drink, and the stage is set for a bathroom trip. Let's turn this into actionable steps you can try safely. Establish a personal cutoff window. Many people do best avoiding stimulating or alcoholic drinks for 6 to 8 hours before bed and making bubbly or very sweet drinks a daytime event. If your bedtime is 10 p.m., this means rethinking beverages after roughly 2-4 p.m. Tailor it to your schedule rather than forcing a perfect rule. Mind the triple hit: cold, plus carbonation, plus sweeteners. That combo glides down fast and can nudge the bladder in 3 different ways. If you want something refreshing in the evening, try room temperature or warm options without bubbles. Volume matters. A small mug sipped slowly is very different from a 24-ounce tumbler finished in 5 minutes. That difference alone has spared countless 2 a.m. wake-ups. Don't be fooled by labels. Decaf often still contains a small amount of stimulant, and a double-strength brew can concentrate what's left. Some herbal blends include green or black tea leaves for flavor. Read the ingredient list, not just the front of the box. Watch for stealth sources. Dark chocolate, coffee-flavored desserts, Certain bottled teas and pre-workout mixes can tip the balance when taken late. Align fluids with your day. Front-load hydration with breakfast and lunch. Keep dinner modest for both volume and seasoning. Heavy salt late in the day pulls more water into circulation, which the body then wants to clear overnight. Consider a calm, warm beverage 60-90 minutes before bed, and make a final bathroom stop part of your wind-down. Respect medical context. If you take diuretics, manage heart or kidney conditions, are pregnant, or have prostate or pelvic floor concerns, bring these adjustments to your clinician for personal guidance. Gentle changes still matter, but the details should fit your care plan. A few surprising facts help tie the picture together. Even people who don't feel caffeine anymore can experience its subtle renal and bladder effects later at night. Some healthy bottled teas marketed for calm actually include small amounts of stimulating leaves in the blend. Kombucha carries trace amounts of the same compounds found in tea because, well, it is tea. And zero sodas can be irritants despite their lack of sugar because of carbonation and certain sweeteners. None of this means you must live with a bland cup. It simply means that smarter choices at specific times protect your night setting. If you enjoy rituals, keep them. Swap the timing or the contents, not the comfort. A small, non-bubbly, non-stimulating warm drink sipped slowly signals your nervous system that it's safe to power down. Combine that with a few minutes of leg elevation in the early evening to move daytime fluid out of your calves, and you'll notice the first improvements within a couple of nights. These aren't fads. They match how your body is built to sleep. Let me end with a memorable image. Your kidneys and bladder are teammates on a night shift. Give them a quiet workspace, fewer late alerts, gentler inputs, and they'll do their job without waking you for status updates. The next step is to protect that night shift with smarter brewing and better timing, so you keep the rituals you love while sidestepping the 2 a.m. detour. We're building toward a clear, simple approach that respects dose and preparation, because in health, the how matters as much as the what. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation methods are changed without care. I'll keep it practical so you can apply it safely. Open your kitchen cabinet for a moment and picture a lineup of cups. The tall iced coffee that slips down effortless on a warm afternoon. The amber glass of sweet tea that comes with drive-through dinner. The frosty cola that pairs with game night. The zero-sugar soda you sip while answering late emails. The comforting mug of hot chocolate. Even the bubbly kombucha that feels healthy. None of these are villains on their own, but each one carries properties that can nudge your kidneys and bladder to send you down the hallway at 2 a.m., especially when the timing and preparation stack in the wrong direction. Let's unpack the most common culprits with clear language and a steady tone. Stimulating compounds found in coffee and many teas can increase urine production and keep the brain a touch more awake than you want after dark. That doesn't mean you must ban joy. It means timing and dose matter. Cold brew may taste smoother, but can be quite concentrated. Iced versions go down faster, which means more volume in less time. Even decaf isn't caffeine-free. Small amounts remain, and a double-strength brew can concentrate what's left. Matcha, green, and black teas carry stimulants naturally. Some bottled blends add them back in, even when the label leans into words like calm. Chocolate and cocoa powders contribute smaller amounts, yet still matter for late-night sensitivity. Alcohol gets its own spotlight because it plays a trick. It briefly lowers the very signal your body uses at night to reduce urine production. That's why a nightcap may feel relaxing at 9 p.m. and feel like a mistake at 3 a.m. Wines, beers, and cocktails also add volume, and in social settings we often sip more than we realize. For many, the combination of alcohol plus carbonation, think hard seltzers or beer, is a double nudge toward overnight awakenings. Now consider the bubbly world. Carbonation expands slightly and can increase pressure in the stomach. For some, that translates into a stronger urge to urinate or more bladder sensitivity. This doesn't happen to everyone, but if you're already waking at night, it's a lever worth testing. Add artificial sweeteners to the mix, common in diet sodas and sugar-free energy drinks, and a subset of people notice irritative bladder signals independent of total volume. It's less about fear and more about fit. Your bladder may simply prefer calmer inputs after dusk. A few surprising stealth sources are worth calling out. Kombucha begins life as tea, so it retains traces of the same stimulating compounds. Some herbal blends sneak in green or black tea leaves for flavor. Pre-workout mixes and certain electrolyte drinks include stimulants. A squeeze pouch or shaker bottle at 6 p.m. seems harmless until your 1:47 a.m. Wake-up makes perfect, frustrating sense. Dark chocolate desserts or coffee-flavored treats at the end of a restaurant meal can tip your night over the edge, even if you skip the espresso. What should you do with this information without swinging to extremes? Build a simple suspect lineup experiment. For 1 week, circle your late-day beverages on a notepad or phone and mark 3 properties: stimulating, bubbly, or very sweet. Diet. On nights with 2 or more properties, expect more wake-ups. On nights with fewer, note the difference. This isn't scientific proof, it's a practical map of your own response. Most people see a pattern by day 3. Then create a swap grid. If you love the ritual of an afternoon cafe stop, choose an option that preserves comfort without the late-night baggage. A small, non-bubbly, non-stimulating drink. If you crave something cold, try chilled still water infused with a slice of apple or cinnamon stick. Flavor without bubbles or artificial sweeteners. If dinner calls for a flavored drink, consider a small glass of diluted 100% juice with still water earlier in the evening. Then taper to warm, gentle options as bedtime approaches. Pay attention to serving size and speed. A 24-ounce tumbler finished quickly is not the same as a small mug sipped over 15 minutes. Temperature matters too. Very cold drinks tend to go down faster. Warm drinks encourage slower pacing. If you enjoy sweet tea or soda with dinner, reduce the portion and finish it with the meal, then switch to still water or a gentle warm beverage for the last hour of the evening. You're not giving something up, you're redistributing risk. Read ingredient lists with a detective's eye. Decaf is reduced, not zero. Herbal is not a legal guarantee of no stimulating leaves. Zero can still mean carbonated with sweeteners that some bladders dislike. When in doubt, treat your evening drink like a tool. Does it support sleep or make it easier to wake? The label won't answer that for you. Your experience will. If you're managing medical conditions, nursing, pregnant, or taking diuretics, keep your healthcare professional in the loop as you make changes, because the ideal timing and choices can be different, and safety comes first. For most healthy adults, though, these swaps are gentle, reversible, and informative. You learn quickly which inputs your body thanks you for after dark. Here's the small twist to carry forward. The comfort you seek in a cup is available without borrowing against your night shift. The ritual stays. The triggers change. And when the triggers change, your bladder stops sending messages at 2 a.m. simply because it has fewer reasons to speak up. That's liberating, and it's closer than it sounds. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation methods are changed without care. I'll keep it practical, clear, and safe, so you can apply it with confidence. You've felt the pattern by now. What's in the cup, how much you pour, and the way you brew it can either protect your night or prime a 2 a.m. detour. The aim here isn't to scare you away from familiar comforts. It's to give you precise levers, time, dose, and preparation that let you keep the rituals while removing the wake-up call. Think of this as sleep-smart beverage engineering. Begin with timing. Most adults do best when stimulating or alcoholic drinks stop well before bedtime. A practical rule many find helpful is to wind those down about 6 to 8 hours before lights out, and to make bubbly or very sweet drinks daytime choices. If your usual bedtime is 10 p.m., that points to a rethink of beverages after around 2 to 4 p.m. This isn't a punishment. It's aligning your intake with your biology's night setting. Alcohol deserves special mention. Keeping it out of the last 3 to 4 hours of your evening spares you from the well-known 3 a.m. echo. If social plans include a drink, pair it with food, follow with still water, and finish early. Dose is the next lever, and it's bigger than it looks. We often underestimate serving sizes because cafe cups have grown. A simple downshift from a 20-ounce cup to a 12-ounce and then to an 8-10-ounce cup in the evening changes the math dramatically. Pace matters. Sipping a small mug over 10 to 15 minutes is gentler on your system than finishing a large cold drink in 3 minutes. Another useful trick is the front load and taper. Enjoy generous fluids at breakfast and lunch, a moderate glass in the late afternoon, then smaller volumes as the evening progresses. Your last bathroom stop becomes a calm, deliberate step in your wind down. Preparation is where surprising wins hide. Strength and steep time control how much stimulating compound or acidity ends up in your cup. If you brew coffee at home, consider a slightly lighter ratio in the late afternoon and avoid stacking shots for flavor. If you're choosing decaf, remember it's reduced, not zero, so keep portions modest and don't brew double strength at night. For teas that contain stimulants, shorter steeps and slightly cooler water, just off the boil rather than roiling hot, typically extract less. Herbal options without stimulating leaves are often gentler, but read the fine print, because some blends add green or black tea for aroma. Temperature and texture influence behavior. Iced drinks are easy to gulp. Warm drinks invite slower sipping, which can be the difference between a restful night and a hallway trip. Carbonation can add pressure and urgency in sensitive bladders, so consider non-bubbly alternatives after dusk. Very sweet or artificially sweetened beverages can be provocative for some people. If you enjoy sweetness, experiment with a lighter touch or natural flavor from cinnamon sticks or a strip of apple peel in warm water. The goal is comfort that cooperates. Let's make this practical with a mini toolkit you can start tonight. Set a personal cutoff clock. If you aim for 10 p.m. sleep, choose 3 p.m. as the last call for stimulating drinks and keep the final 3 to 4 hours before bed free of alcohol. Write it down. Habits follow calendars. Shrink the evening cup. If your dinner drink is usually a large soda or sweet tea, switch to a small portion and finish it with food. From that point on, choose still water in sips or a small warm beverage 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Adjust brew strength. If you make decaf, use standard strength rather than double scooping. With tea, steep the first infusion briefly and discard it. Then make a second, shorter infusion for a milder cup in the evening. Slow the pace. Use a smaller mug and hold it with 2 hands while you sip. This simple physical cue slows intake and reduces the big volume fast problem. Respect salt and spice. Heavily salted dinners pull more water into circulation later. Aim for balanced seasoning. Very spicy or acidic add-ins near bedtime can provoke reflux, which often masquerades as wake-ups for the bathroom. Move evening fluid out of your legs. Elevate your feet for 10-15 minutes in the early evening, or take a brief walk after dinner. This shifts fluid back into circulation earlier, so your kidneys don't have to do the catch-up shift at midnight. Keep context in view. If you take diuretics, are pregnant, manage heart or kidney conditions, or have prostate or pelvic floor concerns, discuss timing and dose changes with your clinician so your plan stays safe and aligned with your treatment. A few everyday examples make these levers feel real. Picture a college student powering through homework with a pumpkin spice cold brew at 7 p.m. A quick swap to a small, warm, non-bubbly drink and a 3 p.m. stimulant cutoff often removes the 1 a.m. bathroom trip. Imagine a parent at a Friday ball game with a large diet soda. Finishing a small one with the 7th inning stretch and switching to still water reduces the "why am I up at 3" mystery. Or a late-night email habit paired with an energy drink. Moving the focus work earlier and keeping evenings for gentler sips protects both sleep and mood. Here's the quiet headline. You don't have to abandon your rituals to protect your sleep. When timing respects biology, dose respects the bladder, and preparation respects the cup, the body does what it's designed to do. Keep you in deeper, quieter sleep without a hallway detour. These are modest shifts with outsized returns. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation methods are changed without care. I'll keep it straightforward and safe so you can translate it into your routine. You've already seen how timing, dose, and preparation can turn a familiar cup into either a sleep ally or a 2 a.m. interruption. Here's the uplifting part. You don't have to abandon the evening ritual that helps you unwind. You can keep the comfort, the steam rising from the mug, even the feeling of a small reward at the end of a long day, while removing the hidden triggers. Think of this as a gentle swap, not a strict ban. Start with a clear promise to yourself. Preserve the ritual, change the contents. That simple shift opens a surprising amount of room for better nights. The goal isn't to make your routine bland, it's to make it smarter. We'll combine 3 principles: gentle, precise, personal. Gentle means non-stimulating, non-bubbly, and easy on the bladder. Precise means mindful with volume and steep time. Personal means experimenting to find which flavor and texture your body welcomes in the evening. Let's build a practical swap shelf you can use right away, with options common in North American kitchens and grocery aisles. Rooibos latte, naturally caffeine-free. It has a round, slightly sweet profile that sits comfortably in place of a late latte. Brew 1 tea bag, or 1 teaspoon loose, in about 200 milliliters of water just off the boil for 5 to 7 minutes. Add 50-80 milliliters of warm milk or an unsweetened plant drink. Dust with a pinch of cinnamon. Keep sugar light or skip entirely to reduce bladder provocation. Chamomile with apple peel. The apple's skin lends gentle aroma and a whisper of natural sweetness. Brew 1 chamomile bag with 2 thin strips of apple peel in about 200 milliliter water for 6 to 8 minutes. Strain. This feels like dessert without the wake-up call. Chicory coffee, New Orleans style. Toasted chicory root delivers roasted notes that scratch the coffee itch without the stimulant. Prepare according to the package, aiming for a small mug and slow sips in the 60-90 minutes before bed. Golden milk, simplified. Warm 200 milliliters of milk or unsweetened plant drink with a pinch of turmeric and cinnamon. Stir slowly. Avoid heavy sweeteners or spicy add-ins late at night. If you manage health conditions or take medications, check with your clinician before using concentrated turmeric regularly. Simple cinnamon stick infusion. Drop 1 stick into very warm water for 8 to 10 minutes. The result is aromatic, cozy, and naturally unsweet. Now, preparation details that keep these allies on your side. Volume. Choose a small mug, roughly 200-250 ml, and sip over 10 to 15 minutes. Big gulps equal big signals to the bladder. Small, slow sips keep things quiet. Steep strength. Longer isn't always better. Oversteeping can make even gentle herbs harsher on the stomach, which may wake you for reasons unrelated to the bladder. Temperature. Warm beats icy at night. Warmth slows intake and supports the body's downshift. If you like chilled drinks, keep them earlier in the day. Sweetness. Aim for low or none. If you prefer a hint of sweet, try a tiny amount of honey or the apple peel trick rather than artificial sweeteners late in the evening. Add-ins. Avoid bubbly waters, strong citrus, and heavy spices close to bed. They're more likely to irritate. To make this easy on a busy weeknight, set up a sleep tray on the counter, a small kettle or pot, your chosen tea or chicory container, a measuring spoon, a favorite small mug, and a folded note with your cutoff times. When the tools are ready, healthy choices happen with less willpower. Let's tailor for common scenarios. Late meeting iced latte habit. Swap to a warm rooibos latte by 6 p.m., cap the volume at a small mug, and enjoy a glass of still water with dinner. You'll preserve the reward without priming a 1:30 a.m. wake-up. Game night soda ritual. Keep the first small soda with food earlier in the evening if you like, then shift to still water or a gentle warm drink for the last hour. You'll likely notice fewer urgent signals after midnight. Post-dinner dessert craving. Try chamomile with apple peel rather than hot chocolate or coffee-flavored sweets. The aroma scratches the dessert itch without adding stimulants. Healthy but fizzy routine. Kombucha or sparkling waters can be refreshing, yet the bubbles may nudge bladder sensitivity in some people. Test a week where evenings are bubble-free and note your night awakenings. A simple 7-day self-test can reveal a lot without strain. Days 1-2. Front-load water earlier, set a 3 p.m. Cut off for stimulating drinks and pause alcohol within 4 hours of bedtime. Days 3-4. Add the small mug rule and the 60-90 minute warm beverage window. Days 5-7. Remove artificial sweeteners and carbonation at night. Keep notes on wake-up times and how refreshed you feel. You're not chasing perfection, you're mapping your personal response. Keep medical context in view. If you take diuretics, manage heart or kidney conditions, are pregnant, or have pelvic floor or prostate concerns, coordinate adjustments with your clinician. These swaps are gentle, but your plan should reflect your health needs. Call it the quiet victory of the evening. By preserving the ritual and upgrading the inputs, you give your kidneys and bladder less to react to. The result isn't just fewer hallway trips. It's a more complete stretch of deep sleep, steadier energy, and a clearer morning head. That's a quality of life upgrade many people feel within a few nights, not because of a miracle drink, but because the routine finally matches the body's design. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation methods are changed without care. I'll keep it practical and safe so you can apply it with confidence. It's time to bring the threads together and make the reveal useful. The pattern we've traced points to a familiar culprit for most people who wake to urinate. Late-day caffeinated coffee and tea, iced or hot, refilled or bottled, joined for many by caffeinated sodas. These aren't enemies in daylight. The trouble arises when they overlap your evening. They can nudge the kidneys to produce more urine, sensitize the bladder, and keep the brain a touch more alert than you'd like. Add alcohol near bedtime, and the effect multiplies by briefly turning down the signal your body uses at night to make less urine. The good news is simple and reassuring. With timing, dose, and preparation tuned to your biology, you can keep comforting rituals and still protect your sleep. Here's the clear, step-by-step way to prepare your evening without wake-ups, using accessible ingredients and paying attention to detail so the plan is safe and repeatable. Choose your base ritual. Decide on one gentle beverage for the next week: rooibos latte, chamomile with apple peel, or chicory coffee. Variety can wait. Consistency helps you see results. Plan the clock. Aim for a 60-90 minute window before sleep for your warm drink. Stop alcohol 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Set a stimulant cutoff 6 to 8 hours before bed. If you typically sleep at 10 p.m., that means no caffeinated drinks after 2-4 p.m. Set the volume. Use a small mug, roughly 200-250 ml. Sip slowly over 10-15 minutes. Finish the cup, make a calm bathroom stop, then move into your wind-down routine. Prepare with intention. Rooibos latte. Heat about 200 ml of water to just off the boil. Steep 1 tea bag or 1 teaspoon loose rooibos for 5 to 7 minutes. Warm 50-80 ml of milk or unsweetened plant drink in a separate cup. Combine and add a pinch of cinnamon. Skip artificial sweeteners. If you like a hint of sweet, use a small amount of honey. Chamomile with apple peel. Heat about 200 milliliters of water to just off the boil. Add 1 chamomile bag plus 2 thin strips of apple peel. Steep for 6 to 8 minutes, then strain. The apple contributes aroma and gentle sweetness without provoking the bladder. Chicory, coffee. Follow the package instructions for a small mug. Keep it plain or add a splash of warm milk. Avoid double-strength brews at night. The goal is comfort, not intensity. Calm the late-night triggers around the cup. Make dinner seasoning balanced rather than very salty, so you're not pulling extra water into circulation at 11 p.m. Avoid bubbles after dusk if you're sensitive. Keep desserts modest and skip coffee-flavored sweets late. Take 10 minutes with your feet elevated in the early evening or take a short walk after dinner. Both help move daytime fluid out of the legs earlier. Keep context and safety front and center. If you take diuretics, manage heart or kidney conditions, are pregnant, or have pelvic floor or prostate concerns, adapt these steps with your clinician. If you have allergies to ragweed family plants, approach chamomile thoughtfully. When in doubt, choose the simplest option and keep portions small. Now, the promised bonus: a compact routine that ties everything together so your evenings become predictable and peaceful. Think of it as a simple countdown that most adults can try safely. 3. 3 hours before sleep, skip alcohol. This spares the hormone that helps you make less urine at night and reduces fragmented sleep. 2. 2 hours before sleep, avoid large volumes of liquid. If you're thirsty, take small, unhurried sips of still water. This prevents a late surge to the kidneys. 1. 1 hour before sleep, elevate your feet for 10-15 minutes, or take a gentle stroll. Prepare your small mug of a non-stimulating, non-bubbly warm beverage and sip it slowly. Make a relaxed bathroom stop right after. 0. Lights down. Give yourself a few calm minutes, reading, breath work, or quiet music, so your nervous system and bladder get the same message. It's time to stay put. This is deliberately modest. There's no need for extreme claims or complicated hacks. The body wants to cooperate once the inputs match its night design. Many people notice changes within a few nights. Fewer hallway trips, easier returns to sleep, and clearer mornings. Keep a simple note on your phone to track what you drank, when you drank it, and whether you woke. Patterns will guide you better than any label can. For those who enjoy coffee culture, here's a gentle perspective that protects both joy and sleep. Keep your favorite roast for the daylight hours and aim for smaller servings. If you enjoy tea tasting, explore naturally caffeine-free options after lunch. Rooibos, peppermint, and certain fruit infusions can take the place of late green or black tea. If colas or energy drinks are part of your day, shift them earlier and let evenings be bubble-free. You're not losing identity, you're aligning timing. A final word on self-trust. You know your body better than any packaging claim. If a label promises calm, but your nights disagree, believe your experience. If a small change in steep time or serving size returns a full stretch of sleep, keep it. If you need personalized advice due to health conditions or medications, loop in your clinician. Practical adjustments tend to work best when they fit your medical picture. You've now got the key insight and a safe way to act on it. Your evening cup can be a partner to deep, quiet sleep rather than a trigger for wake-ups. If this guidance helped, share it with someone who keeps a mental map of bathroom floors at night. Tap the like button to support more evidence-informed content. And subscribe to stay close to practical health education that respects your routine and your time. Small, wise choices compound into better mornings. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it may not only limit your results, but could also lead to more serious side effects for some people, especially if amounts or preparation methods are changed without care. I'll keep it practical and safe so you can apply it with confidence.